Now, here's the hosts of Top Story, Kelly Klass and Jill Skeen.
Good morning and welcome to Top Story. Good morning, Jill.
Good morning, Kelly.
A little bit cooler this morning.
I guess so.
We're supposed to be in for some rain.
That's what I heard. I'm supposed to do the Twin Falls Farmers Market tomorrow.
Oh,
I hope people come out.
time.
It's actually Customer Appreciation Day, so all the vendors are supposed to bring something for people to eat or try. So I'm going to make some soup again. But
Well, that'll be perfect. And it's a good thing you have a tent.
And I have a tent. I know Tom's like, is anyone going to come out? I'm like, I hope so. We still have produce and, be like a New Englander. Just dress and go out there.
Absolutely.
Weather never disturbs those people.
Heavens,
They're out.
no.
It doesn't matter.
That's right.
Hey, where's our Friday bump?
Our Friday bump. Let's see.
You lost it?
Is that still
Did you lose
around?
that one?
No, just give me a second here.
I've got $100 smoking in my billfold. I know I ought to save it, but it's burning a hole right through my pocket and into my skin. Come Monday morning, I'll be broke again. It's finally Friday, I'm free again. I got my motor running for a wild weekend. It's finally Friday, I'm out of control. Forget the working blues and let the good times roll.
All right, there you go. You feel better now?
Yeah,
All right.
we're losing all of our bumps. At least we have Friday.
Well, haven't lost that one yet.
I like
Now,
Fridays.
for the benefit of those who might be watching this a little later on our Clickscast, I have to cut that song out. Because if you try to upload stuff to YouTube that's
you
copyrighted,
don't have rights?
they won't let you do it.
Actually, that's a good thing.
We do have
That's a
rights
good
for
thing.
broadcast
Yeah.
because we pay those fees, but
Not the
YouTube
second use.
That's right. That's a whole different deal. So if you're watching this on the Clickscast right now,
There's nothing.
there's nothing. We were just sitting here like we didn't know
We're
what we
just
were
sitting
talking
here like a big blank space on air, like we do a lot of times when people call in and say, Kelly, hit the button.
about. Coming up at 8:20, we'll have Ella with the CSI update.
Mm-hmm.
At 8:30, we'll be talking about Jubilee House.
That's right. They're doing a fun little fundraiser.
At 8:40, we have Scott Truax with a snake with back to the
Return-
what are they? Return to Snake
Return
River.
to Snake River.
Why do
We
I
have
want
a
to keep
thing right
saying
there.
that?
I don't know.
Return to Snake River.
Yep.
And then at 9 o'clock, we have Democrat candidate for the U.S. Senate, Nels Mitchell, who will be joining us then.
That's right. So get your questions ready.
Another full day today. And we do have a little bit of news, but I had an incident happen yesterday that I wanted to relate.
Yes.
And maybe many of you have experienced this before. You get that queasy feeling after this happens. Okay, I walked in. I opened my garage door from the remote control in my vehicle as I pulled up.
Yes.
And I walked in through the garage, and then I hit the button on the wall to close it, and it wouldn't close. It'd start and it'd go back up. And I did that a couple of times. I thought, oh, there must be something in the electric eye.
Yes.
So I went back, checked the electric eye. Sure enough, there was something in it. So I took my finger and was clearing around it, clearing around, and then I put my finger in where the electric eye was, and I felt something fat
gross.
and smushy.
Gross.
And I pulled my finger back out, and guess what crawls out of the little hole?
I
A
don't
big,
know.
fat black widow spider.
Was it a black widow?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It had to be. It was black.
Well, there's some big ones.
I didn't get to see the red hourglass on its belly, but I've seen black widows before.
Oh, my gosh. Wasn't it a tarantula?
Well, it seemed like it at the time, let me tell you. But
How bad and how far did you jump and how loud did you scream?
I don't know. I really didn't. I just saw it back out, and so then
You didn't jump.
She got to the point where I couldn't get to her, so I went and grabbed I keep a bottle of pesticide around for incidents like that.
Oh, just
and
for that.
I sprayed all around it to hopefully maybe get her wherever she was hiding.
Ah,
So I was
that
kinda-
is scary. I'm sure you jumped and I'm sure you screamed a little.
Actually, no, I didn't. Actually,
You
I was
didn't.
quite proud of myself.
Were you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway.
Just a little
Now,
spider.
even thinking about it now and how I pushed it with my finger and everything kind of gives me that little
That's
queasy
a queasy,
feeling, you know?
yucky feeling.
So I don't know, maybe.
Of course, if you were Kelton the Hatch, a little olive oil, salt, and pepper. It's delicious.
Roadkill recipe.
Another
because the
I
olive.
just imagine if he eats anything he finds in his house or other.
that would be a roadkill snack.
Oh, yeah. Little tasty tidbit.
That's right. And the olive oil probably neutralizes the venom.
No,
so,
sure.
Hey.
Yeah, nothing spoils with olive oil.
Anyway, we have some news, a little bit of news today. The city's Planning and Zoning Commission is going to be holding a public hearing 6 o'clock October 14th, something that many folks might want to be at, to hear a request from the Twin Falls School District and city staff to amend the Twin Falls Comprehensive Plan.
Well, it's interesting because they went to the city council first. Normally, the procedure is you go to planning and zoning first, but they went to the city to annex it first. Probably, I don't know why. But anyway, it's beyond the water boundary for Twin Falls. It was only 10 acres for the school, but somehow 43 acres for housing development. So, people need to be aware if you live in that area, you need to go to planning and zoning and say, hey, hopefully they can make changes if you object. It's interesting, the backward process on that one.
Knowledge is power.
You know what? And you have to be informed and you have to get involved.
That is true. City Council Chambers is where that meeting will be, it looks like, on October 14th at 6 p.m. So
that's
there
right.
you go.
I have to say,
yes,
the Yankees game last night. I know you didn't watch it.
No, I didn't.
I'm not a
sorry.
Yankee fan because, of course, I'm a Red Sox fan. And, of course, the Red
of
Sox
course.
and the Yankees have a huge rivalry, in case you didn't know that, Kelly. But Derek Jeter, who's been the shortstop for the Yankees for, 18, 20 years, I think. 20 years, they say. Was retiring. That was his last home game at Yankee Stadium. So, of course, we tuned in because, you know what? If you want to talk about the epitome of an athlete, let it be Derek Jeter, who's, he's never been ejected. He has always, no one plays harder than this man. No one. He is always respectful of the game. Even when the crowds in the last few games wanted him to come out and wave, because he's retiring, he didn't do it out of disrespect to the other team and the other players. I mean, this guy is a class act and never through temper tantrums, just graceful, humble. It was really special to watch. And, of course, he wins the game for him last night. It's tied, bottom of the ninth. He's up because you didn't think he was going to get up because the Yankees were up like 5-2, and then all of a sudden Baltimore hit 2 home runs. Now it's tied 5-5. You think they're going to lose the game, but then Jeter's now up again. He wasn't going to be up again if they had the 5-2 lead. Gets up, bottom of the ninth, hits a single, and has the guy come in and score. 6-5, wins the game. How could you write a better script to end your career? Even though he's going to be a DH in the Boston series, they didn't make it to the playoffs this year. But, I mean, it was like a storybook ending, it was amazing. So anyway, he's the epitome of what an athlete and a sportsman should be. Our kids should look up to a player like Derek Jeter, honestly.
Very nice.
If you didn't see it, and you know what, it transcends rivalries. And you think with the things that are happening in sports today, look at Derek Jeter, what an athlete, a gentleman, a sportsman. And it was really, kudos to him for a great career. And it must be really hard to leave it. I think he's like 38. Hard. You retire.
Oh, yeah.
For the rest, it's really sad.
Yeah.
But anyway,
now
if
he's
anyone got the
live
chance
and spend all of his money.
I don't know. Maybe he'll come back as a coach or something. But anyway, it was a nice send off, and to win the game at the bottom of the ninth. I mean, every kid's dream, right?
Oh, absolutely.
But he's had a career of winner like that. So anyway, good luck, Derek Jeter. Kudos to him.
One of the big items in the news, of course, is the resignation of Attorney General Eric Holder.
That's right.
I think everybody was kind of surprised.
I think they were surprised he lasted this long. That's a long time, 6 years.
He will be the third longest if he holds out until, December?
Yeah.
So, and I had never really thought about that before. You don't really think a lot about the cabinets. I know cabinets come, cabinets go, but probably the pressure and everything else in that position probably precludes many of them from staying longer than this.
Yeah.
So, because, I mean, really, whether you like the guy or not, whether you agree with any of his decisions or not, I mean, that's a tough job. There's no way, if I were an attorney and when we're eligible for something like that, there is no way that I would want to do that.
I know.
Life's too short.
So anyway, well, he's staying till he's confirmed. And so, in my mind, they haven't confirmed anyone. So he might be there till the end of the term. Maybe he's like, if I start now, I might get out before Obama's out of term. Who knows?
7360300. Top story. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning. The sad part is the one they pick to replace him will be just as bad and worthless as he is.
I don't think he's been worthless. He's done a lot while he's been in office. He has, and kudos to him.
He has done a lot, and I haven't agreed with a lot of his decisions. And it will be interesting to see who they do get.
Yeah, it will be, and if they can get it confirmed.
In fact, there's a little story here in USA Today. The elections, November 4th, will decide which party will control the Senate, so Democrats want a quick process for confirming Holder's successor. New Senate rules pushed through by Majority Leader Harry Reid would allow Democrats to sign off on whomever Obama names with a simple majority vote.
What a concept, a simple majority vote as opposed to a supermajority of 60. But Congress is out till after the elections for another 7-week vacation after they just had one.
The Senate isn't scheduled to come back until November 12th. Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Patrick Leahy, Democrat from Vermont, said he wants to hold hearings as quickly as possible on Holder's successor. Reid said he hoped for swift and fair consideration of a replacement.
Yeah.
Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, a Republican of Kentucky, a Holder critic, said Republicans would scrutinize the next nominee to make sure he or she finally returns to prioritizing law enforcement over partisan concerns.
Really?
So yeah.
Law enforcement over... You know what? He's done a lot for civil rights. Actually, he's reduced the minor drug sentencing. I think the people that have been in jail, the numbers have gone down. You know, he has done a lot if you look at the list. And you know what? I think he was a great attorney general.
We had Prosecutor Grant Loebs on a while back, and he said that little showmanship meant nothing. He said it meant absolutely nothing.
Well, apparently it's meant something.
7360300, top story. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The only thing I'm sad about is everything that he's ever done, he's going to get away with. Now, he's done a lot for civil rights, okay. Well, let's say the same week that Trayvon Martin got killed, let's say 2 black kids decided they were going to kill a white kid, which actually happened. Did you hear about that? Was that anything to do with civil rights? I mean, those kids wouldn't have killed him because he was white. I mean, people that are colored, they don't hate white people. I mean, they don't beat them up. I've been in a big city. I've been threatened with my life for walking down the street because I was white.
And
that's
you know
what
what?
I think is lopsided. He hasn't done anything for someone besides what he considers to be his race, and that's it. He's one-sided.
Well, when you see what's happening, it's pretty one-sided out here. We just had that man in South Carolina just yesterday asked to get his driver's license, and is just being shot at. And you know they're having people all over this country, black men,
other way too. And the
but
thing
not
of it
as
is,
much.
Like he said,
it is not as much.
But it is happening.
But it's not as much when you're a black man and you're stopped just for being black.
So then it don't count. It's not as much.
It doesn't. It doesn't happen to whites. We're not stopped just for the heck of it. Talk to black men that are stopped constantly.
We'll be right back with a CSI update. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Welcome back. Just wanted to mention the Infrared Baron at Far More of Idaho. They do overflights of your fields. They take infrared photography. You can look at these photos. They upload them to your computer, and you can make decisions about your irrigation system and other issues based on these infrared pictures, which bring out all sorts of stuff over what you could see with the naked eye. Mm-hmm. To find out more about this Infrared Baron, all you have to do is get a hold of them at 324-3341. Say, hey, I heard Kelly and Jill talking about this. I want to find out more about it. And they can do that. They will do that.
Mm-hmm.
Just tell them.
They will.
That's right. We have Ella Donahue with the CSI Update. Good morning, Ella.
Good morning. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be back.
How are things going on at CSI?
Very well. We are going on a retreat this weekend, so that should be fun. We'll get rained on, though. So.
Yes, rain is in the forecast, apparently.
But doesn't mean it's going to happen, right?
Well, it looks pretty good.
We got
right
the
now.
farmer's market. Please be wrong this time. So anyway, what retreat is it?
It's the whole councils and stuff. So you have the Diversity Council, Program Board, Senate, a couple others. I believe there's 70-some people going, and it's going to be at Camp Perkins in Stanley.
Oh, that'll be fun.
So we probably will get rained on just because it's further up there, closer to the clouds, you know.
You might.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Closer to the
It
clouds.
might snow up there. Could
Yeah,
very well.
yeah.
Did you
it's
think
okay
of
with
being
me,
a
though.
meteorologist? That's very good. Closer to the clouds. We're going to get more rain.
And as the closer you get to the sun, it should be warmer,
Yes.
right? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, that sounds like fun.
Yeah. So what else is going on?
Well, the CSI volleyball team plays USU Eastern tomorrow at 1 p.m. in the CSI gym. They are currently ranked 3rd in the nation, so it should be a great match.
CSI is, not USU.
No.
Yeah, CSI is right. The
Yeah,
Golden Eagles
CSI.
are okay.
Yes,
Good. So
CSI
way to go. They
is
do
great.
really
They've
well in
always
volleyball.
had a great volleyball
Yeah,
team.
they have, haven't
Great
they?
volleyball team, pretty good basketball team.
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Football team, outstanding.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I'm kidding.
So good they're invisible.
I know. You
Yeah.
don't even see them.
You just go to the game, and the game's over, and they already won.
That's right. There you go.
Boom, bam.
Doesn't get any better than. Okay, what else is going on?
We have the Italian buffet from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Thursday, October 2nd. This is CSI's Culinary Arts and Hospitality Management students serving. And it is $16 for adults and $8.50 for students. It's best to get your tickets ahead of time because space is limited. And so you should call Lori Watkins at 732-6300.
And they have a great program over there. They've always participated in Death by Chocolate, and they always win. Seriously.
I've
They
never
do well.
gone. It is so good. It is
I
so
started
very
the
good.
event. Yeah, I do go.
Oh, yeah. It's fantastic.
Just asked me if I've ever gone.
Well,
I thought you asked me if I'd ever gone. I'm like, yeah, I have for 9 years now.
And nary eaten a piece of chocolate.
No, I haven't actually. No. But anyway, and you got Arts on Tour.
Yes, just under 2 weeks, October 8th. We're going to start with the Hot Sardines. It's a group that's all about blues, Bourbon Street, speakeasies, and torch songs. Throw in some impossibly good tap dancing.
That's fun to watch. I like tap
Yeah.
dancing.
It's very fun. I used to be a tap dancer.
Did you?
Actually, we went to competitions and we did very, very well every year.
Oh,
Is it
that's
hard?
cool.
No, I actually liked it a lot. We were called the Rockin' Horse Studio.
Nice.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, that
Yeah,
sounds fun.
we were
How
in
tired do
Mackey.
your legs get? You know, because when you see them, it's like, oy.
Oh man, it's a lot of work, but like you do it enough, so then it's not so much work.
Right.
It's a lot of fun though. I mean, it is. You get to do crazy stuff with your legs.
So this would be a lot of fun. I'd like to watch this.
I used to do ballet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Tickets are $22, right?
Yeah, and they are at the Fine Arts Auditorium, and it's going to be at 7:30 p.m. Wednesday the 8th.
Okay, great.
And we also have a Just Drive exhibition. It's coming to CSI a week from this Saturday. We will have an obstacle course with people trying to navigate the course while texting to show that texting and driving is not good. You should not do it. And it will be from 8 a.m. till noon on Saturday, October 4th. And KTVB television will be there with live broadcasts.
I mean, I heard there's actually more accidents with texting and driving than DUIs now.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be
It's
surprised.
really
bad.
awful.
And
And,
it's
and the
usually-
young people. Ella, what's up with your generation? They're all they're constant.
It's because, they do it all the time, and it's like, no, I have to text this person back. It's going to drive me nuts if I don't know what they're telling me, or they're going to get mad at me if I don't text them back. I don't
You
do
text?
it,
Okay, good.
but I know, I can just psychologically see why people do it
Yeah,
in our generation.
I know. It's going to come back to haunt us. It
well,
really
people
is.
are dying, so there you go.
Yeah.
Have you seen some of the accidents? It is really scary.
I know.
It's awful.
But before we run out of time, we need to hear about the corn maze.
Oh, yes, the Corn Maze is opening up next Friday night. It will be open from 5 to 10 every night in October through Halloween. And opening night specials include free Schwann's ice cream, free glow sticks for the children. And if you come with a group of 4, you can get in for just $5 when normally it's $3.
Wow, that sounds like fun.
So, and the logo, they
Wait a
showed
minute,
it
you said they can get in for $5 when
for the
normally
whole
it's
group.
$3?
Yeah, for
the
four
whole
people
group.
can get in for $5 instead of one person getting in for $3.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you said that. It sounded. Oh, never
Yeah.
mind.
But the
I
logo,
get it
they
now.
showed the corn maze today from an aerial view. It's the logo is CSI logo. It's really cool. I might have to do it this year, Cal. We should do it.
I'd get lost.
I might need a flashlight. Are you allowed to take flashlights, Ella?
Yes, I take a flashlight.
You do?
Yes.
We
You'd
could
almost
get lost.
have to have a flashlight.
We could then do our show the next day from it because we won't be able to get out of
yeah,
there.
we'll be lost. All right. Well, hey, Ella Donahue, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week for
Yes.
the CSI update.
Stay
Thank
dry
you.
on that retreat, Ella.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Have fun. Yeah. We're going to find out about Jubilee House next, right here on Top Story. Then we have Scott Truax coming up at 8:40 about the return to Snake River. At 9 o'clock, it's Democratic U.S. Senate candidate Nels Mitchell here on Top Story. 7360300, always the number to call. Welcome back to Top Story. We have Katherine Bossman here with us, who is the executive director of Jubilee House. Good morning, Katherine.
Good morning, Katherine.
Good morning.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, you have an event coming up for Jubilee House, but before we talk about the event, give us kind of a Reader's Digest version of what Jubilee House is.
Jubilee House is a 12-month residential recovery home. Women come into Jubilee House that have tried to get sober from addiction for years, and we deal with all life issues, not just their addiction, but why they got there. We have licensed counseling, and then, of course, we provide 24/7 staffing and transportation, room and board for 12 months while people learn the tools to recover and take the time to heal.
Wow.
That's
and how
nice.
long has that been? That's been going on for a while here.
Almost 7 years.
7 years.
How
Time
is the
flies.
recovery rate for Jubilee House? What is, or the sober rate,
Success
whatever?
rate? Yeah.
Success rate.
Over 75% of the women that have graduated are still in active recovery.
Awesome. That's great.
So you have, in order to run something like this, takes money. And, of course, that always takes fundraising events. So tell us about what you have coming up.
Well, we have what we call Salad Sensations. It's a little bit different fundraiser. You come and you just eat a ton of salad. We have a salad bar. We try to have 30 to 50 different salads available.
Oh, my.
This year we're going to have a little bit of pasta as well and a little bit of entertainment. We're going to have a big Hawaiian playing some ukulele music for us.
A big Hawaiian. Is that his name?
Yeah, actually his name is Ikaika. And so
Ikaika.
he's going to be playing some Hawaiian music for us. And then we have auctions, all kinds of auctions. And you can do some silent auctions, or you can just do some raffles. And for as little as $1, you can enter in to win some jewelry, some purses, some food. We
A
even got,
wonderful cookbook.
yes, we got a
I
great
don't-
signed cookbook. And we're also put some organic lentils and beans and everything in the basket with this great cookbook we got.
Nice. My cookbook, in case people want to know. Yes.
Yeah, because Jill did write a cookbook.
I
did.
did.
You know
Comfort
that?
Food Gets a Vegan
Yeah,
Makeover,
right.
and I donated
right.
it to your fundraiser. How much is it for people to attend, and where is it?
It's $12 to get in the door, and it's at the Twin Falls Reformed Church on Pole Line in Grandview.
Oh, okay. And this is you said your 7th year you've done
Seventh
this?
year we've done it.
That's crazy. I
Yeah,
like
it
it.
really is.
I like it. Have you had a big response?
Yeah, we usually, it's not huge. It's an afternoon event, but 100, 120 people sometimes
That's nice.
come out. It's nice. It's fun.
Yeah, that is a heck of a deal. So, do you find that you have more people that could participate in Jubilee House than what you have room for?
Always.
Yeah.
I have applications on my desk that I have to, say, yes, you'd be a great candidate for Jubilee House, but we just don't have a bed available. And
How many beds do you have, Katherine?
We, when we're full, we have 8 women's. We've had up to 10. That's a little bit much. It's a 1,700 square foot house.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Wow. My goodness. Who's making the salad for the salads from soups, or I keep saying soups, but for your salad sensation?
Actually, a whole bunch of people. We have volunteers. They're going to be all homemade salads. So we're just going to have a variety of everybody's favorite salads.
Oh, nice.
And there's nothing better than homemade. You know?
Oh,
That's right.
nothing.
I mean,
nothing.
you can buy it
nothing.
at the store, and that's okay for dinner,
No.
but you know,
You like to know what's in it.
homemade is homemade.
Are you
That's right.
bringing in anything?
Yeah, I think I'm going to bring in a pea and mayonnaise salad, which I only get to eat when I go to something like this because no one else in my family will eat it, and an Asian sesame pasta salad. That's just
Oh,
wonderful.
wow.
Next year, you should
know,
ask me. I'll donate a salad
All right, I will.
because
you
I
know,
have a
you
great
could have
salad.
brought us samples.
Well, that's true. But then why would you come tomorrow?
No, well,
That's right. So it's 11 to 2.
It's 11 to 2.
$12, right?
Mhm.
And it's a lot of fun, but all the money goes back to Jubilee House.
Right back to Jubilee House, yes.
How much do you think it takes to run Jubilee House for a year?
It takes just over $100,000 to run
Right.
Jubilee House, which is actually amazing, as most recovery places take somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000 per person per month. We run Jubilee House for, and that's, like I said, 24/7 care, room, board, transportation, licensed counseling for just over $1,000 a month per resident.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh, that's
So
amazing.
what's the difference
I
between
don't
that
get-
and the 20,000? What's that?
I don't make any money. No, that's right.
She's a volunteer.
Really what it is we are very careful about what we do, and we understand that licensed counseling is very important, licensed drug and alcohol counseling, so we do offer that. But we do a lot of life skills classes, boundaries, codependency, budgeting, communication, child raising, the type of things that's way beyond just getting sober. It's really learning how to live in recovery.
Do you help them get jobs?
Yes. By the time a person leaves, they have not just a job, but they have a safe and healthy place to live. At about 9 months, they do go to work, and then that money until they graduate is saved so that they can afford to get a place and stuff.
And then they move out. Okay, great.
So how can they find, if people are listening, want to find out more, maybe even want to make a donation, because if they can't go to the event tomorrow, you can still donate, right?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, we receive no state, federal insurance money at all. We survive on foundation grants and donations alone. And you can go to jubileehousetwinfalls.com. You can read all about the program and donate through there.
Do you need clothes too?
Yeah, we accept clothes because a lot of the women are coming directly out of prison. We go through them, and what we don't use, we redonate, or we do have a sale twice a year.
And what's the phone number, Katherine?
736-2566.
All right,
Okay,
Katherine
good
Bossman.
luck.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very interesting. Good
Sounds
luck
like a
at the
nice,
event
healthy
tomorrow.
Thank you so
fundraiser.
much.
We'll be right back with Scott Truax and return to Snake River here on Top Story.
Out.
7360300 is the number to call. I was just looking at a report here on the TV, and they're showing the new iPhone 6 and how they bend.
I thought that was a feature.
They're
Bend in your pocket.
I know.
And you're like, no, they say that way.
Yeah. One way, if you do set on it, it'll conform
to your tushy.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I'm glad I stuck with my 4S, and I probably will for a very long time.
I've got a 5S, and I think I'll just hang on to it for a while.
Yeah.
But at any rate, we got Scott Truax coming up here shortly with Return to Snake River. See what's going on with the Snake River Canyon Jump. Before we get back there, I just wanted to let you know the folks at Clearwater Power Equipment, now in Twin Falls, want you to know that they will store your power equipment for you over the winter, if you like. You're riding more and stuff like that. They carry Husqvarna, which is a full line of outdoor power products, including the service and sales, and they know all about this stuff. As I've said before, that's all they deal in is just this power equipment. So that they know everything about these. If you have any questions, you can ask them and they'll have the answer. They also carry Echo, which has the best warranty in the industry, 5-year residential, 2-year commercial. They are at 252 Washington Street in the former General Building Supply building, and you can call them, ask them about their storage program at 734-7767, Clearwater Power Equipment. Stop in and tell them howdy, and that Kelly and Jill sent you. All right, so we got Scott Truax with us. Good morning, Scott.
Morning, Scott.
Good morning. Coming to you live from Cape Canaveral, right here in outside of Twin Falls.
Cape Knievel. Now that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Now you've been doing a bunch of testing out there, haven't you?
We have. Hey, before we get started, can I go to lunch with you guys?
Yes.
Am I eligible to sign up for that?
Absolutely. We'd love to have lunch with you.
Well, I love to go out with famous people.
I don't know if we're famous, but
that wouldn't be us. But we can line you up with some.
We'll have
famous
you
people.
riding a limo, though.
We'll line you up with Brad and Jackie on KZJ.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely sign up, Scott. So what's going on? You doing another test, huh? Or
We're
you did another test?
away. So far, we're batting 1,000 here. We started off. We really wanted to have our first test be on the anniversary date, but there was just too much to do that day, so we pulled it off the next day. We're very conservative how we're sneaking up on things. Here we had the one that we did for the press on the 9th was at a very low temperature. I think it kind of underwhelmed people because we weren't going to go full bore the very first time right in front of the press and everybody.
Right.
And then we had one that evening.
Right.
And that's where we got that great picture of Eddie running out with the steam in the background and his kind of silhouette. It didn't happen until the nighttime. And, our last one was at 375 degrees out of 468 degrees. So today we've got another test that's full temperature, full pressure. This is it. This is the big test. Although the one we did yesterday or day before yesterday was that was phenomenal. I mean, everything worked perfectly. We got the parachutes in. The parachute didn't get blown out. This was a test that my dad never got a chance to do.
Yeah.
He never got the chance to test it statically with the parachute in, or he would have found out the problem.
Is it
So-
because they ran out of time, or was it just a rush, or what was the deal on that?
Well, the parachute cost, there was a significant dollar amounts wrapped up in that parachute, and the parachute guys didn't want the parachute damaged back in the day. So, yeah, that test that he wanted to do was kind of taken out of his hands. Yeah, it was too tight of a budgetary and time schedule to do that critical test.
It just is kind of proof that you can't rush this stuff, isn't it?
Absolutely, and that's why when everybody says, when are you jumping? I would love to be able to give an answer to that, and my only answer is check on our Facebook page, Return to Snake River. We've got all the updates. Everything is up to the minute on that, and as information becomes available to us, that is our outlet, is our Facebook page, Return to Snake River.
So, Scott, have you had the rocket go up the entire launch pad, or have you done that yet? Or is it still just in a very static place?
This one went up about 18 inches. And what that did was it tested how the rocket leaves the launch initiator. That is the device that holds the pressure in the rocket and actually, initiates the whole sequence there. And that worked flawlessly. We actually put we had a metal bracket that was holding the rocket from launching, and we bent it because we had so much thrust.
Wow.
It was, and all of our instrumentation worked perfectly. So, we got the bracket getting fixed by our buddy Ed Goff over at Goff Metal Fab. And we've been so lucky here. Even though we're in Twin Falls, Idaho, we have had access to just about all the technical fabrication that we need here. And the local businesses have just been wonderful. We've got Bish's RV has provided this great RV for us to stay in and watch the place, and we've got tailor-made fencing out here, fencing the place off. So we got some security and just a bunch of Renter Center. Kim over at Renter Center is providing our generator and equipment when we need it, making it all possible.
Wow, that's very cool. So this is a community-involved event then.
Yeah, it has. As little support as we've had from the city, the actual businesses and the people that do things, we've had great support from.
Wow.
I know. Are you surprised? Because it seems like when people hear about it, they're like, "Oh, this is cool! Like coming together, like this is really neat."
Yeah, we're excited. It's the fulfillment of a dream for all of us, and we really have an A team working for us. From my engineer Craig Adams to my machinist Luke Tracy to Jay Michaels, formerly of KMVT, their Lost Our Gain. We just really have a good crew, and all aspects of the project are handled, and so far it's just gone so smoothly.
So any broadcast interest yet?
We are working on that. In fact, what we did was we took that footage of the test and took that to sponsors and broadcasters, and everybody tells you they're interested, but we haven't put ink to paper yet. But we think that's going to be forthcoming, any minute.
Wow, that's very cool. So in case you just tuned in, we're talking to Scott Truax, one of the ones involved in the Back to Snake River.
Not one of the ones. Well, we are the only one.
He's the only one.
No. What I meant was in your group.
Oh, yeah.
No, I know you're the only one. I know you're the only one, and I've told you before. Everybody knows that Lindbergh flew across the Atlantic, but nobody knows who the second guy was.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah, and I know I have confidence. I know you're going to make it. Now, we're talking about these tests. Are you going to send an empty rocket across the river, across the canyon in a test?
Well, I'm not at liberty to divulge the entirety of the testing schedule. We have to be kind of careful because, at some point we're going to have a broadcaster that is going to pick up this whole thing, and I can't give away too much content because kind of that's what they're paying for.
Right.
So it's the political end of things is always the most difficult for me because I'm the guy that just wants to blab about everything because I'm so excited.
I know. Do they know you're on the air right now? Hey, Scott. Scott, I was going to say the day after I was one of the people out there when you guys did your first test, and they let me go in the rocket, which was so cool. But we had one of our listeners call in and said, they could make a fortune if they just let people sit in that rocket and take a picture for $20. So anyway,
it is tempting.
Yeah. Oh, it was like, yeah, seriously, because not too many people can fit in that. And, one caller was like, I'm jealous of you. I was able to fit it. It was really cool. And it also was amazing, the magnitude of it all. When you're sitting in there and realizing what Eddie has to go through, and he's going to be thrust 400 miles an hour, and you see the angle, and honestly, you look at it but you don't realize the magnitude until I was in there, and I'm telling you,
Same here.
I freaked out for Eddie.
The day we put it on the ramp, I jumped in it and I was like, oh my gosh, I mean, it didn't hit me until you're staring at 56 degrees.
Yeah.
Knievel was alleged to have quoted, "My God, it goes straight up."
Yeah.
And he saw the ramp angle.
Yeah.
And he's used to jumping at a relatively low angle when he's jumping motorcycles. And when he saw that, I think there's a very good reason why he didn't do it again.
I'm shocked he did it the first time.
It's brutal.
It is. It really, and when you're in there and you look up, because just to get into the rocket, you just have to almost contort upside down. You're like, I'm like,
tiny little thing.
Yeah, I'm like, how am I supposed to get in this? But yeah, then you realize the magnitude, and you're like, wow. Did Eddie, when he got in it for the first time, did he sit there and go, wow? Wow.
He said, wow. The funniest reaction was when Kelly Knievel sat in it. That's Evil's oldest son.
Yeah.
And that guy's a character in his own right. And
yeah.
He said, my reaction was expletive deleted. You can see it on our Facebook page. It was hilarious. But it's true. You really do have that sort of four-letter reaction because it's, especially when you realize the totality of the ride. I mean, this thing goes from 0 to 400 in under 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And there is a chance we're going to have Eddie in a G suit to make sure that
was my
he
next
doesn't
question.
pass out.
Yeah.
Now, we had Kelly on the show, and he said his dad never passed out. Did you tell us his dad passed out?
I heard that he did, and it's really difficult to get a straight answer out of Evil because he was very good at promoting himself and making things exciting. That's why we watched him. Was it bending the truth on occasion? Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
In fact, I'm actually really excited to hear when Eddie, to debrief him after he gets on the other side, to really get a very honest, Eddie is the sweetest, nicest, most honest guy you will ever meet. He is just salt of the earth. And when he gets to the other side, I can really get there's no bravado with him. He is just, he's
so
the kind of guy you'd want your daughter to marry. And that's like the highest compliment I give. I have 2 daughters, so anybody that has daughters knows that, you want your daughter to marry a good guy. And, he will give me a very accurate description of the whole thing, and I'm sure it will, after the color comes back to his face and he starts breathing again, he will tell us exactly how it was.
Before we run out of time, what is left between now and the actual jump? What do you have to do yet?
Well, we've got rocket number 2. This is rocket number 1 is kind of to put it crassly, the first pancake. We are learning everything that there is to learn off rocket number 1. Rocket number 2 has the fancy paint job on it. It's going to get built with all of the knowledge we learned from testing rocket number 1. And then Eddie hops in it and goes.
Okay, so number 2 has not been built yet then, or?
Oh, no, it's well on its way. The airframe is completely done.
Oh, I got you.
It's painted.
Okay.
We need to put the engine in it, the fins on, and, anything we learn as far as small details from this one, we put into number 2, and that's the one that he flies.
Okay.
So
Wow, this is exciting.
it is exciting, but the last time you guys said, hey, we're going to do it with or without a broadcaster. Are you still going to do that, or are you going to wait a little bit and hope you get one?
Yeah, well, we really have gonna have a come to Jesus moment when if we all just in our hearts and minds just can't even imagine, with all the excitement around this, and it's such an interesting project, how could a broadcaster not be interested? But yeah, we didn't come this far to throw up our hands just because nobody's willing to film it. If we gotta throw it up on YouTube, then I guess we'll do that.
Okay,
But
Scott, well, let us know. Let us know so we can be out there.
Yeah, we're working on a feature film that if that's the only way that people get to see this, then and the feature film will tell everything in depth on how we did everything.
Very cool. Well, Scott, we're out of time. We'll be keeping in touch with you, have you on from time to time, so let us know what's happening.
Awesome. Everyone check our Facebook page, Return to Snake River.
All right.
Scott,
thanks,
thank
Scott.
you.
Talk to you soon.
All right, take care.
All right,
Bye.
bye-bye. Scott Truax with Return to Snake River. We got Nels Mitchell coming up this next hour, the Democrat candidate for U.S. Senate, right here on Top Story. Welcome back to Top Story, 7360300. Always the number to call. Welcome back, Jill.
Thanks, Kelly. Same to you.
And it is, it's warming up a little. We're at 58 right now.
Okay.
Rain on the way.
No, I hope not. Yeah, sometimes they say it's going to rain. It doesn't. Come on. I'm going to be at the Twin Falls Farmers Market tomorrow morning, 9 to 1, Customer Appreciation Day. Please come on out. Everyone's going to have soup and food and snacks and treats.
Well, not only that, but we still got some crops out in the field, some beans and windrows and such like that need to be gotten up. But
let's
Mother
Let's have some good juju.
Waits on no one.
Well, hopefully she'll wait till 2 o'clock tomorrow.
She does her own thing.
Come on out. Come see me. I'll be at the farmers market serving up soup.
We are scheduled to have Democratic candidate for the U.S. Senate, Nels Mitchell, at this point in time. However, he is still making his way here to the radio ranch.
That's right.
We called him during the 9 o'clock break there, and they are, guess what?
And he's
How
right
is
here.
That for timing,
Thank you, Nels. How you doing?
There he comes. Good morning.
Right
Come
down.
on in.
Yeah.
Come on in.
I'm doing well.
Let me turn up the microphone. That'll help. Here. All right. Well, hey, glad you made it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did you get lost in these city streets?
Yeah. Basically, my friend Frank and I have been lost in almost every town in Idaho since the election.
Frank, do you know GPS? Do you know? Do you have a GPS?
I'm going to ask if they had GPS.
I know.
Even GPSs aren't a guarantee,
It's
though.
true. It's so true. Nels, put on your headphones in case we get some callers.
Yeah,
either
getting
one.
started a little bit late here. So
that's okay.
Kind of verklumped, I'd say. What do they say? They call that verklempt?
Verklempt,
all right.
yeah.
All right. So as a formal introduction, Nels Mitchell is running for the U.S. Senate in the state of Idaho, and your opponent is Jim Risch. How is the campaign going? And I'd like to hear a little bit about your background so people know who they're dealing with.
Okay. The campaign's going very well. It's a lot of fun. It's great to have this opportunity to travel around the state. It's also an honor to be the Democratic nominee for the U.S. Senate. And in terms of my background, I grew up in Boise and went to University of Idaho Law School. I've been a part-time teacher at the University of Idaho Law School for the last 10 years, and I've been a practicing lawyer for over 30 years.
Okay.
So why did you decide to do this, Nels? Because someone could say, well, that's a nice career, nice life. Why would you want to get into politics?
Actually, my wife has asked me that same question. And it was basically growing up in Idaho, I always, I thought I was going to get involved in politics, but life takes us in different directions. And growing up, Frank Church was my hero. And, I had been the enforcement director for the SEC for the Western United States, had a good career. And then I was approached by some prominent Democrats last fall who asked if I would take on the race against Jim Risch. And it wasn't on my agenda at the time, but after watching Senator Risch participate in the shutdown of our government, which I thought was one of the most reckless things to come out of Washington in my lifetime, I realized that is something that I needed to do. because I'm worried about the extremism in Washington and the dysfunction of Washington. And I think we need more problem solvers and people who know how to work across the aisle, work with different types of people in order to address the issues that we face in Washington.
So as you travel around the state and talk to the voters, what do they tell you are their big concerns, and what do you tell them as to how you're going to fix them?
The big concerns that I'm hearing as I travel around the state, people are tired of the dysfunction in Washington. They want a government that works. They don't want to just see it broken down. And so there's a lot of unhappiness with what's going on in Boise as well as what's going on in Washington. And, it really comes back to what Governor Andrus has said, which is, here in Idaho, we want government off our backs, but we want it by our sides. Right. And in terms of, what they want in Washington, they want a senator that's actually going to be working for the people of Idaho. And a lot of people in this state don't feel like we've got a congressional delegation that's looking out for their interests.
Now, some people say I think he's been rated the most conservative senator in Washington, and you have to say, looking at his records, it's basically because he's pretty much voted no on almost everything. And I wonder, really, is that effective for our state?
I don't think it is effective. And, as he's also on record as saying the job is easy.
Yes.
And the job is easy if you just don't vote no on everything and blame everything on the president. And in terms of, this most conservative thing, I don't know how those rating systems work because, if you're shutting down the government, you're wasting $24 billion of taxpayer money. That's not conservative. That's foolish. And I don't see how anybody can have any type of a positive rating for those senators that shut down our government last fall.
Do you see your battle as uphill and being in probably one of the reddest states in the union?
Well, it's interesting because, when the Luna laws were defeated 2 years ago, that helped restore my faith in the Idaho electorate. And then when I started looking at this race, Democrats are in the minority, but so are Republicans. You've got to remember with our closed primary system, it's somewhere around 55% of the people are not registered with either party. In Idaho, we consider ourselves independent. And so it's those independent voters that will decide the election.
We also have more female voters in the state of Idaho. And Senator Risch's record on women issues, I think, are not that supportive of women. What do you feel about that?
In terms of I think I've got really good support with women. I'm much more sensitive to what I would characterize as the women's issues, but it really kind of transcends this, the fact that he voted against the extension of the Violence Against Women Act.
Right.
That is something that actually Senator Crapo was one of the co-sponsors, and yet Senator Risch voted against it. The Violence Against Women Act provides funding for some of our prosecutor positions here in Idaho, and it serves a lot of other great purposes. And the fact that he voted against it, that's something that does not set well with a lot of the women voters. And he's also taken some other stands that are offensive to a lot of women voters in the state.
Right. The Paycheck Fairness Act he voted against, Minimum Wage Fairness Act. Those issues are economic issues for women as well as men in the state of Idaho.
Yes.
Do you hear any objections to his votes on those?
Well, yes. His votes on those, but also the fact that as the U.S. Senator, he hasn't voted. He has not done anything that really supported jobs in the economy in Idaho, and especially when I am in Pocatello and in Idaho Falls, his votes against funding for the Idaho National Lab. That's major because that's really what drives the economy in that part of the state. And the fact that when he's in Idaho, he pretends to be a supporter of the Idaho National Lab, but yet when he's in Washington, he has voted against funding for the Idaho National Lab. And actually, with the government shutdown, we were 2 days away from having to furlough all of at least half of the workers out at the Idaho National Lab. And, it affected not only the workers at the lab, but it also affected all those local businesses in the Idaho Falls area because, people weren't buying cars. They were.
How many employees would that have been?
It would have been 2,600 employees would have been furloughed if the shutdown had continued for 2 more days, which would have had a ripple effect throughout that part of our state in terms of the economy.
One of the big issues around here a lot of people are concerned about are the Second Amendment. What's your stance on how Second Amendment friendly are you?
I'm Second Amendment friendly. I believe in the Second Amendment. I've been a gun owner since I was 12 years old. And, one of the things that's interesting, is when I was at the Western Idaho Fair, a voter came by the Democrats' booth and he said, "Oh, you're a Democrat. You're going to take my gun away." I said, "Wrong. I'm not going to take your gun away. I'm a gun owner. Been a gun owner all my life." And I got to talking with him and he said, "Oh." And he really reconsidered it, took literature about the other Democratic candidates, because I don't know any of the statewide Democratic candidates that are unfriendly to the Second Amendment.
We asked this with A.J. Belukoff and Bert Marley yesterday. Do you see yourself maybe as different than what we would consider an Eastern Democrat?
Oh, certainly. I'm an Idaho Democrat. I'm a Cecil Andrus Idaho Democrat. And, politics here, I think we tend to be more conservative, more independent, whichever label you want to use. And certainly I'm an Idaho Democrat. I'm not a California Democrat either. So I don't see myself as having a lot in common with Nancy Pelosi, and frankly, or some of the East Coast type Democrats.
How do you think you'll be able to work with the other side? Because especially if the Senate is retained by Democrats, or if it's turned over to the Republicans, do you think this will be a problem? Do you think you'll be able to break through the gridlock?
I think that I can really contribute to breaking through the gridlock. One of the skills that I bring will bring to the U.S. Senate is the fact that I can work with lots of different types of people, and I think that's part of the benefit of coming into politics at this stage of my career. For example, I was a partner in a law firm that had over 100 partners, which covered
that itself, because it says a lot.
And that covered all the full political spectrum, and I was able to work with all of my various partners, and everybody had different interests. But that's something that I think that it's a skill that I have, that I know how to work with different types of people, and whether they're Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, trying to find the common ground so that we can actually address the problems that we face.
What are some of the main issues that you tell the Idaho voters? I mean, because literally, I'm looking at this as kind of an uphill battle. And do you find that it's difficult to tell people that say, "Hey, look, I'm really not one of those guys over in the East Coast"?
It's actually, I've found the people that I've met around the state very receptive, because people in the state are tired of the partisans. And so they're looking for people who are going to go back and serve. And they're also tired of career politicians. And so the fact that I'm coming into this as kind of a non-politician, they like that. They also like the fact that I believe in term limits. I've made a pledge that I'm only going to serve one term, which 6 years is a long time.
It is a long time.
But I've made that pledge because I do believe in term limits. I think it's important for our democracy that we have people that serve for a period of time and then go back to their profession, back to their communities. I think one of the problems, you look at the leadership in Congress on both sides of the aisle, whether it's Nancy Pelosi or John Boehner or Mitch McConnell or Harry Reid, they've been back there too long. They've lost touch with the needs and the interests of this country.
Do you feel Senator Risch has as well?
I believe Senator Risch has as well, because he's actually been a politician for over 40 years. And, the fact that he's been back there now for 5.5 years has accomplished nothing for the folks in Idaho, and yet is proud of the fact that nothing gets done while he's back there.
It's almost like he's retired in the Senate. I mean, the Idaho Statesman article about him was pretty amazing.
Well, and the interesting thing, it wasn't an article. That was an interview.
It was an interview. Yeah, it was an interview. Yeah.
And I think we saw the real Jim Risch come through there, and he just views it as a sense of entitlement to be back there. I think we need a hardworking senator who's going to look out for the interests of the folks in Idaho.
We're out of time. Nels Mitchell, Democrat for U.S. Senate. Thank you very much.
Best
we
of luck.
appreciate you being in here today.
Thank you very much.
Story. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Welcome back. Yesterday's $100 instant winning name.
Hello, another listener.
I know, that's my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law, she has no idea
Does she
that I
not
do
know
a
you
talk
do a show?
No, she has no idea. That's okay.
Family. You gotta
I
love
her
family.
dearly. Yes.
They're like, you do a talk show? It's like, yeah, almost 6 years. Hello.
She's always telling me what she reads in the paper, and I say, well, that's not quite right. And she said, well, it said that in the paper. And I said, well, that's not right. So anyway.
Bless.
Moving right along.
Yes.
Yesterday's $100 instant winning name in the News Radio 1310 KLIX Loyal Listener Club is Janice Moore.
Janice Moore, congratulations.
And your $100 word of the day for today is moon.
Moon.
Moon. There's going to be like some eclipses.
Is it?
Lunar eclipses coming up. When we're
going to have Chris Anderson on soon,
when we have
right?
Chris back, we will talk to him about that.
He will be on the 6th.
Yeah, October 6th. And so anyway, go to our website, newsradio1310.com, click on
I was
Word
going
of
to
the
say
Day.
moon.
Click on the moon, click on Word of the Day, and type in moon, M-O-O-N.
Moon. All right.
And listen Monday. If you hear your name Monday and you played the word today, you'll win $100. Just
How
like
easy that is.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got a caller. Let's go ahead and take a caller. Top story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. What concerns me about your candidate that was just on the radio is that a high percentage of our government representatives are lawyers, and our justice system is in such a nightmare that it concerns me that we've got another lawyer wanting to run for a congressional office. Could you address that?
Well, he's no longer.
I can't. He's not here. He had a short period of time to be with us, but
And he also
I have
teaches.
to tell you, and he teaches it. I thought about that. I know that I think our Congress is made up of a large majority of attorneys, and I think sometimes, that can be a problem.
But when you think about Congress is the one who makes the laws, sometimes it makes sense. So, he also, he was he teaches, and also he worked, with the SEC. He was a person who worked there.
I mean, he's had what you would consider a stellar career coming up through the ranks like that.
The worst thing in the world to be an attorney, especially when you're up there to make laws.
I don't know. Is Jim Risch an attorney?
I think he is, actually.
Seems like he is.
I know his son is, right?
Yes, his son is. Jason Risch is actually, But at any rate, I don't know. Not much I can say. I mean, he was here and he gave his background and said, frankly, I don't care when we send people to Washington. I really don't care what their career has been if they could just straighten things out, because I know
Risch
people.
is an attorney. He was an attorney.
Yeah, okay, and I know people who maybe didn't have what you would consider a stellar career, but I think they would make a great representative in Washington, he or she.
Yeah, exactly.
And there are other people who have had such stellar careers that you would consider that successful career, and they don't know how to come in out of the rain. So.
And Simpson was a former dentist, so it doesn't really, whatever. It doesn't matter.
736-0300, top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. The guy that was talking about lawyers being in office. Here is evidence of what's wrong with lawyers being in office. This is from your Citizen's Handbook. It says, no law is broken when there is no injury shown. Your prosecutor in Twin Falls there, he was talking about the sports athlete that supposedly punched his girlfriend. He said that because she is saying she's not a victim, then the people are the victims. That is straight out socialist bull. It's showing himself that he is anti-law, anti-constitution.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I know she did drop the charges. I know he was charged with third-degree assault. I think that's the problem with, the battered women issues, and I think that's what Grant was trying to say. I don't know if you can force someone to press charges or what the deal was with that.
No, but he did say, I mean, once the law has been broken, it doesn't make any difference
right.
they push it or not. But if you don't have anybody to testify against them, then that can be a problem right there. If you lose your witness, then what can you do? You have nobody.
Well, that's
on
why
your
a lot
side.
of cases he said, she said things are dismissed because you don't really have witnesses.
736-0300, top story. You're on the air.
Yeah, that candidate sounds like a good guy and everything. Sounds like a conservative in a lot of his standings. Makes me wonder why he's running as a Democrat. I just don't get it, because we have in the Republican Party rhinos, Republican in name only. Does that make him a Democrat in name only? The problem with it is most of the leadership of his party is leading this country off the fiscal cliff. And are they really going to hand any bit of power or say-so over to some guy who doesn't toe the Democratic line? I bet you within a year he'll be towing that line, because all the Democrats did with Obamacare, and nobody wanted that. They forced that through.
And you know what? And it's doing great. And more states are expanding to it. And more insurance companies are signing on to it. And it's lowering the cost. Well, those are the facts.
Say that Obamacare is doing great,
it is doing great. Look at the facts. Look at the facts.
That would be a good question, though. I mean, I think you bring up a good point. We'll be right back here on Top Story. 7360300 is the number to call. Going to talk about the smartphone, the new smartphone.
How smart is it?
How they bend.
How smart is it?
I know, right?
Yikes.
Well, just wanted to mention, though, at Canyon Pond, they have guns. At Canyon Pond, they have camping stuff. They have woodworking stuff, fishing poles, and tools, and that's just barely scratching the surface. Canyon Pond is the newest pawn shop in town. It's right across the street from Will's Toyota. And Dave Hansen and the crew want you to come on in and see what they got and just browse around and have fun and take a look at stuff. They got stuff new in the box. They got stuff used that people have pawned. It's just a cool pawn. I mean, everybody at least knows what Pawn Stars is, right? I mean, I like to watch Pawn
I never
Stars.
watched it. I know there's a show.
You should watch it. Actually, he has a lot of the guys on there are very knowledgeable about history. And somebody will come in with an old item and they'll give a history of it, and it's actually quite interesting. Do
you think maybe they recorded it ahead of these things are not reality. This is not reality.
They may have, but the fact remains is that you get a history on a lot of this stuff, whether it's pre-recorded. I mean, yeah, it's pre-recorded.
Pawn Stars, they're geniuses. Yeah, it's all recorded.
Now, I don't know if Dave Hansen at Canyon Pond knows the history of everything, but I know it's fun to go in there. It's a nice, clean store, and it's just fun. So stop in, say hi. At Canyon Pond, buy something, pawn something.
Buy something, pawn something.
And tell them that we sent you right across from Will's Toyota on Shoshone Street.
Yeah.
No, the reason, actually, the iPhone thing is kind of a last-minute idea to talk about, because I just updated my 5S to iOS 8.
Ooh, and they have a software glitch.
No, well.
Yeah, they did.
What is it?
Well, let me see. They just said that there's a software update for the 8. What is it? 8S?
iOS 8.
iOS 8. Hang on, I had it up here.
Anyway, I updated my 5. I have two of them actually. I have a work phone and I have a personal phone. The work
Apple
phone is
releases iOS 8.0.2. Apologizes for botched software updates. So they said there was a problem. The people who downloaded iOS 8.01 includes improvements and bug fixes originally in 801. So you must have a bug in yours. You're going to have to now download 802. It fixes an issue that affected iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus. What do you have? 5?
I have the 5S, so it didn't.
So I don't
bother
know.
Me.
I don't know.
Well, anyway, I'm kind of glad the iPhone 6s. And I know a lot of folks, including Brad here at the
station. Did Brad get one?
Oh yeah, he always has to have the latest and greatest. But he's got the 6, and I'm going to ask him if he's sat on it yet and bent it.
Now, keep in mind, Apple sold 10 million phones. Right now, on Thursday, the tech giant said they only had 9 users that complained of bent phones. This is just the This is the tip of the iceberg. No one has sat on them yet.
Yeah, what happens when people start actually using them? They leave them in the back pocket. They sit down on a hard chair, and it bends or breaks.
Oh, yeah.
I think what has happened is, technology-wise, Apple has... And this would have never happened when Steve Jobs was around. I mean, that product never left the factories unless it was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But they're trying to make them so thin and so light that it appears they're forgetting about the actual rigidity.
The durability of it.
I
mean, and you don't change them out every few months. I mean, hopefully you keep your phone for a while. I've had mine now. Well,
yeah, I've had my 4 for several years. So anyway, I don't know if anybody is updated to the 6. If you have, how do you like it? Is it bent? Have you tried bending it?
And who wants to? It's like a credit card when you bend it back. Because they haven't fixed this yet.
Right. It's not flexible.
And
it
you just paid
bends.
like, what, $400? What were they?
Yeah, I don't know. They're a lot of money.
A lot of money.
A lot of money.
A lot of money.
So,
all right.
For having something that holds the knowledge of the entire world, plus all of your personal information in this little device, you would think that it would be a little more versatile, a little more durable than, bending when you set on it.
I have to
if
say...
it was flexible, it would be one thing. If it would bend and then bend back,
well, yeah, because I thought, well, that's a good feature. It bends around.
That's what I
was thinking. But then when you're like, it doesn't bend on purpose. But that's one of the reasons, like, when new technology comes out, I'm always slow anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm always thinking, like, they're going to have to work the bugs out first. I don't want to be the first one to get it. I don't.
That's the way it's been, and with software, too. And I was a little bit hesitant to update my 5S to iOS 8. But I went ahead and did it. I bit the bullet and did it. And so far, I haven't noticed any ill effects.
Okay, well, supposedly there's a little glitch in there. So I don't know.
Only dealing with the iPhone 6, though, right?
Well, but I wonder what's in the iPhone 6 that's not in the 5, and how does it affect
a lot of stuff on the 6.
Anyway, pay attention.
I updated to iOS 8, and I didn't see a whole lot of additions. I mean, I'm not one that, on my phone anyway, that really gets into it. There's some icons on there dealing with your health and things like that I will never use.
I think those are part of the problems. The other thing is if you update 8 on your 4S, it has... your battery's gone.
Yeah, that's what I understand.
So don't update.
It's not good with older than the 5. But
fine,
with my
fine
5S,
with me.
it's so far so good. So those of you who have been waiting and wondering, bite the bullet and try it, see what happens. I won't be responsible if it blows up in your hand, but go with it.
Or breaks when you sit on it.
Go with it. And we're back. 7360300 is the number to call here on Top Story. Okay, talking about the smartphone and getting your email and all that information on it, here is a new study. Always new studies out to talk about. German researchers studying the effects of people taking their work home with them at night or on weekends found that workers were plagued by a host of issues, including cardiovascular problems, insomnia, headaches, muscular issues, fatigue, anxiety, and stomach problems. The study, published in the Journal of Chronobiology International, examined 57,000 people.
That's a lot. More
than half of whom worked past normal hours, largely driven by access to smartphones and computer tablets. The researchers claim that the new advances in technology have prompted employers to expect their employees to be available at all hours.
I agree.
And asserted people's bodies need purely recreational time to recover from work. The authors from the Society for Labor, Industrial, and Organizational Psychological Research in Oldenburg, Germany.
Easy for you to say.
Boy, I'll say. Wrote information and communication. Oh, that's what they wrote. Information and communication technologies, such as computers and smartphones, have the potential benefit and the potential inherent danger of making it possible for employees to be available anytime, anywhere. This changes not only our work organization, but probably also our patterns of social participation and integration. Free time should be free time. Otherwise, it must be expected that it cannot fulfill functions of recovery and recuperation.
I agree. I really do. I think the employers think, oh, you're available 24/7, doesn't matter. And when you're on vacation, I mean, forget about it. I remember when I worked at Reebok, the attorneys, I've worked with them for many, many years over a long career. They would come back and almost brag about how much they worked on vacation. And I would think, what is wrong with you? Vacation is vacation. And then when I'd go on vacation, they're like, we need a number, we need this. And I'd say, no, if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, you'd have to deal with it. Figure it out. Because you're so burnt out, the job is so high tense, so stressed. You need time off. You really do, just to get away from it. And 1 week is never enough. I mean, 10 days you start to feel kind of normal again. 2 weeks is like perfect if you have a chance to do that. If you don't, forget it. But no, I agree. I think it's ruining people's lives, ruining their relationships, everything.
I think, and it's not only employers.
No,
it's,
yeah.
It's everybody.
It's everyone. And how
Family
many kids
members
are
and
now sleeping with their phones next to them? They can't even get a good night's sleep. People are
Yeah.
texting at all hours. You can't eat a meal, Kelly Class, without looking at your phone, Kelly Class. No one answers. You know,
I don't do that.
You do too.
I know I do.
You do.
I do.
You do. I mean, it's really ruining every aspect of our life. We can't drive now without it. We're killing each other more than DUIs.
And to you, I want to ask you, listener, do you find that you are, I don't know, what would be a good word, trapped in that your employer thinks that you should be available at all times now that you have that smartphone, even though they may not even be supplying it for you? And what about you as an employer? Do you feel like now it's that your employees should be available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365?
Yeah.
Because in my case, it's handy for me to have access to some of that, because this is a type of business here. It's 24/7, 365.
Well, you might have to.
So if you have an issue at 11 o'clock at night and you need to talk to somebody about it, it's nice to know that you can get a hold of them. So actually, for me, I have to say it's kind of an ease of mind.
But back in the day, and my dad was an OBGYN for 30 years, back in the day, they didn't have cell phones, but any place he went, if it was a barbecue or a friend's house, he'd call the hospital and give him the number where he was at if he was on call.
Yeah.
That's how you
yes.
have to deal with it.
Yeah.
He was on call at one point. He had 7 years without a partner. He was on call 24/7 for 7 years.
Wow.
Because
no wonder he's cranky.
when you serve, he was cranky from the beginning, but and when you serve dinner, somehow that automatically puts women into labor. The phone would automatically ring.
It's like me. Okay, I come into work early,
Yeah.
so people ask me sometimes, so do you go home in the afternoon and take a nap? And I say no, because that makes the phone ring.
Right. Right, but I think people do expect it. I think technology is ruining people's lives. I don't think people are rested, able to get away from it. They don't think they can recharge. I really don't, and I don't think your employer should expect that of you. You kind of deal with the engineering, and if something happened, all 4 stations are off the air.
Yeah, I have to know that.
Yeah, but
And I have to be
in a
able to get a
normal,
hold of some people
Yeah.
sometimes to say, hey, we got an issue here.
But in a 9-to-5 job, or you work in an office, or you're working, come on, let the people
Like
go home and
banking.
forget it.
Like banking.
Okay,
what
9 to
are
3
they?
job. No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
10 to 3, 4 days
Whatever.
a week. Come
Hour and a
on.
half lunch. You know how you guys are.
Absolutely.
I know,
Hour
we're
and a
kidding.
half. That's just their
Wow.
mid-afternoon and mid-morning breaks.
But it's let people recharge,
I
and
have
they
a daughter who's a banker,
they will
so
do
I
better.
can say that.
Yeah, we know, Tracy, what you're doing. 2-hour lunches, and it's Friday, probably a pedicure. No, but you know what? Let people go home. Let people recharge. Be considerate. Let them have a lunch hour. How's that for a concept?
I don't remember ever having a job where I had a lunch hour.
Tom insists, because Tom stops and eat lunch, and he takes his time and eat lunch, and he insists his employees do. A lot of times they don't bring lunch. They just work through lunch. It's like, look, this will help you with the rest of your day if you take a break.
See, I look at it
eat
this
your
way.
lunch.
If I work through my lunch hour, then I can leave work an hour early.
Hey, people, come out tomorrow, Twin Falls Farmers Market. Come see me.
And it's time now for the Huckabee Report, and it's brought to you by Waddell & Reed. You can hear the Huckabee Report each weekday at this time, brought to you exclusively by Waddell & Reed. Laura Nelson, Josh Funk, and Steve Stanger are the financial advisors, and the number is 736-6563. One thing we haven't talked about all 2 hours is the Low and Honey Loader.
Oh, my.
Available at Stanley and Company. And if you're considering one of these for your feedlot or dairy operation, which loads manure up to 7 miles an hour, about any type of manure, liquid, frozen, or dry, Pat Hartzell is the guy to call. He can set you up. He can sell you one of these. If you just have decided, I want one of those, I can't live without it, call Pat, 280-1167. If you want to kick the tires and look at one in operation before you buy, call Pat Hartzell. He can help you out, 280-1167. He can take you to where one of those is in operation, and you can check it out.
That's how easy that is.
280-1167. That's almost as popular a number as 736-0300.
Mm-hmm. Almost.
Also, bras, yeah, almost.
Almost.
Bras in the Canyon. Brajas in the Canyon. Coming up a week from tomorrow on October 4th.
Mm-hmm.
This is, it's a part of Breast Cancer Awareness Month to help provide breast health services for those who have no medical insurance or are underinsured or uninsured in our communities. All of the money from your donations will benefit the Wellness Tree Community Clinic, which is a local charity, coming up October 4th from noon until 2 o'clock. And it's going to be a fun activity. This is, I think, the 3rd annual. So
I think so. I don't know.
brought to you by Arlo G. Lott Trucking Company, also by South Central Community Public Health, Glanbia, and Chick-fil-A will have some free food there, or some coupons if they run out of
If they run out, and overflow parking at Johnny Carino's. And I will not be there because it is Yom Kippur. It starts that Friday night through.
Oh, okay. So
that's the holiest. I will not be there. No.
Yom Kippur is
the Day of Atonement, and we've just had Rosh Hashanah, the New Year's, and so it's 8 days later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's always 8 days later.
All right, and that's where you atone for your sins.
That's right. You ask for forgiveness. You cast things off.
Are you sure one day will be enough?
Oh, Kelly.
Sorry, just couldn't resist.
Sorry, he'll be here all week. And please, come out tomorrow to the Twin Falls Farmers Market. Come see me. I'm going to have delicious soup. I think I'm going to have my split pea. I might still have my mock chicken. I might have 2 soups.
Oh, well, now wouldn't that be something?
Yes,
give them a choice.
A choice.
Do you want split pea or mock chicken?
Yeah, everyone loves that mock chicken. I'm telling you, it's delicious.
It tastes just like chicken, but it's not.
It's so good for you. Come on out. Get a cookbook. I'll sign it for you. It'll be a great Christmas gift, Hanukkah gift, teacher's gift,
my goodness,
birthday gift.
We are getting close, aren't we?
Vegan, vegetarian gift, any gift.
So we'll see you Monday. Have a great weekend. Goodbye, Jill.
Bye, Cal.